And welcome back to another episode of Life in Prison. As always, my name is Zach. So unfortunately, I spent 5 years of my life in maximum security prison, West Virginia, Mount Olive and Huttonsville. Since getting out, I have got my medical degree, and I'm currently working in urgent care, helping others who unfortunately cannot help themselves. What I do is speak about and tell stories on my time in prison along with getting out. What I also do is do video chat videos with individuals, inmates that's still locked up in prison, regardless if it's for murder, doing a life sentence, for drugs, for thieving, robbery, just showing you a first-hand look what's actually like living life in prison. You can sell guns, you can shoot guns, sell dope, you can kill people. At the end of the day, this is exactly where it's going to get you, a 7x12, and you'll be all alone. So if you haven't already done it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button so you'll be first informed when I upload. Today what we're going to be talking about is shot callers. Who is at the top? Level 5 prison. Level 5, you're either a gang member, dangerous, you have a escape charge, you're a high risk inmate. So that's where politics gets a little bit tricky. So in order for you to be a successful shot caller, first thing you're going to need to be able to do is be able to handle your own shit. So you got to think, if you can't take control of your own life, how do you expect to control, right, oversee hundreds and hundreds of other human beings? So first thing that you need to be able to do to be a successful shot caller is you have to know who the fuck is around you. And I say it's like this, right? Even if you have numbers, if you do not know how to comprehend a situation, diagnose it, dissect it, and be able to come out with the right answer, then things can go a little awry. You have to be able to be around individuals that's willing to take it somewhere that you're willing to take it to. And I say it like this. Doing your background, doing your homework on an individual is priority whenever you're in prison, especially in any type of gang or organization. Background as being, you have to make sure that the person that you're bringing into your circle or to your group is not either a rat, an informant, right? Make sure that they don't have funny charges, because that's a fast way to get not only them but yourself hurt also, especially if you're harboring somebody that has a sex charge against women or children, regardless of what it may be. That's a no-go. So doing your homework is priority whenever a situation may come up, especially in maximum security prison. So there's obviously instances that happen here and there, but whenever something serious pops off, that's when you're going to want to make sure that the people standing to your left and to your right and behind you are all willing to go somewhere where you're willing to go to. Now, every single instance doesn't call for drastic measures, right? But if something happens and you might need to go to war, which happens a good bit, you want to make sure that you're not the only one standing there alone. There's been too many times where I've seen, whenever things pop off on gang units and stuff, or just out on the yard, a lot of the time there's going to be 7 to 15, 20 people involved, because whenever you're dealing with gangs and organizations, people run in packs. They don't travel alone. Well, they're not supposed to, right? If someone catches you by yourself, anything can happen. But if there's 3, 4, 5 of you guys running around, it's a little bit harder to get to somebody, especially if you're a top. Whenever you're top in an institution, wherever it may be, you are always supposed to have somebody with you, because you clearly are at the top of the totem pole. Do not get too comfortable, because someone always will be coming for that spot. And that might not be somebody from the outside. It could be within your own. And that happens a lot too. People get power hungry. They don't think that you're adequate enough to be able to run that position, so they're going to try to come for it. And the crazy part is, they're supposed to be your own brother and comrade. It happens all the time, unfortunately. Now, I know a lot of the people that watch these videos have not been to prison, and I hope you never have to go through there either. So, some of the stuff may not apply to you, but I know a lot of people enjoy hearing stories about what happens in high-level security prisons, especially whenever gangs and organizations end up clashing. So, to be a successful top, right, you have to make sure that the people around you are pretty much solid. Now, then again, people slip through the cracks. We all know it. We've all seen it, and it's always going to continue to happen, because people are going to be very, very deceiving. Reason being is because they're going to want protection. So they're going to do anything and say anything to be able to get into people's good graces so that they don't get ate up by the wolves. Wolves being the ones that they're trying to seek protection from. There's been plenty of times where I've seen a lot of dudes that come through and lo and behold, they've been down for 10 years. All of a sudden we end up hearing, yeah, back in 97, they went to prison, they caught a sex charge, you know what I'm saying? They end up raping somebody or touched on some kid, like it happens all the time. In those instances, what then are you supposed to do? At no time should somebody from the opposition ever put hands on someone else. That's always something that's dealt with in-house. However they may deal with it, you know, get a beat down, whatever it may be, pay a fine, that's on them. But you're never going to cross paths and end up putting your hands on another individual in another organization unless it's coming to war, because that's exactly what it's going to take. You're not going to have two gangs just fighting on a regular basis all the time and nothing really be done about that. If so, then maybe that prison, they're just not really like that. You know what I'm saying? Most of the time you go into the hole because someone got stabbed up and life flighted out of there. That's pretty much how it ends up and turns out whenever you got two gangs fighting against each other. But that's where the politicking comes involved. Everyone that's on the top is going to be in communication with the other tops. That's just how it is. People can say, oh, they wouldn't be talking to the enemy. Yeah, they do. It's politicking. It happens on a daily basis. It has to. Just like out here on the streets, politicians, senators, they do their thing. That's exactly how prison is. You got to think of the president, vice president, and goes all the way down to the person that's counting the money, to the person that's making the steel, making the knives. It takes brains, not build. Do you get what I'm saying? Some of these dudes, you also have to make sure that no one in your group is a crash test dummy. And I say this like this. We've all heard of people end up using people and making them go out and do dumb stuff and look stupid, right? From the outside looking in, if I see some clown running around doing a bunch of dumb stuff, childish things in prison, I'm going to think that whole group are clowns. Ain't nobody in my group would act like that. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how it is. It's like high school. Shit, they acting childish. You're around a bunch of men, a bunch of hardened men, a bunch of convicts. So doing childish things is not a good look on you, especially if you're in a gang. If you have all your men in the hole, you have no structure. Plus, you can't call shots in the hole because you have no maneuverability. You can't move around while you're in the hole, so you're stuck in a cell 23 hours a day. Keeping your men out of the hole, being a shot caller, that's the first priority. Next is whatever moves you may be making, right? Whether it's having a CEO on the team or getting something in, you need to make sure that the individuals that you're dealing with don't have big mouths, because the easiest way to get a whole operation shut down is by someone saying one little thing. That's all it takes right there. Now, if he just said something to a rat, you don't know he's a rat, because there's always going to be rats in gangs. Everywhere you go, there's always going to be a rat, a snitch, an informant inside a gang organization. So that's why it's very imperative to do your homework in the first place. But you don't want to get your whole operation shut down because someone likes going around and bragging. Therefore, you need a front, right? Pay somebody, be like, hey, look, I'm going to give you X amount of this if you have people come to you. That way they get knocked off and the product is still flowing. Also, you have to make sure that the people in your circle are not getting high. That's another problem. Honestly, that's how DMI was originated, because people end up building up a dope debt, $10,000 dope debt, give or take. How did they take care of that? They started taking hits. So they became the hitman. That's how we became about. Having people around you that get high and rack up debts and don't have the money to pay it, that's another way for things to fall. Because if you got one dude who racked up a $500 dope debt and he obviously doesn't have the money, now they're coming to you as the top to take care of that. What if you guys don't have that type of money? Now you are going to war. So you have to make sure that everyone's on their P's and Q's, not only not getting high, but also gambling. I know prison is a very lucrative place, especially for playing cards, gambling, poker, right? If you got, once again, another individual loves sitting on that table and things happen. You know, one of my first videos I did with Darius, a bank robber who ended up robbing, a couple banks. We told a story about how he seen a DMI member end up getting sliced up head to toe because he kept up running up gambling problems. He had the money, but it didn't hit right then. And they're on the phone trying to get to their people because the gang's about to get at them. Unfortunately, that's exactly what happens a lot of the time. So you need to make sure that the people that are around you are not on the table getting their money took, opposed to running the table and making the money. You need to make sure that everyone is doing something and trying to bring something to the table. I don't want you around me if all you're doing is taking, and you have nothing to give at all, ever. Not only that, if you don't have any ideas of how to not only make yourself better, but to bring something to the organization to help us keep flourishing and growing and thriving for longevity, why are you around? You know what I'm saying? Shit, just because you might hit somebody in the face, shit, I can do that myself. My man's over here to do that shit. He'll put the knife work in. We'll all put the knife work in. So if you're not willing to do anything, why do you want to be a part of us? Along with doing background checks, you need to make sure that the individuals that are wanting to join actually want to join for the right reasons. Because a lot of people end up owing people in other prisons, leaving, showing up a new prison, then trying to join a gang. So if something happens, now he's not alone, right? So you need to make sure that the people that are joining understand why they're joining, right? And also, not only that, understand that if something comes to a situation, where are they going to be at? At the end of the day, you need to let people know that there's definitely a high chance of you getting into a fight and possibly having to use a knife. Even if you don't want to use the knife, the person that's fighting against you, they're going to have a knife and want to use it against you. So you're going to have to make the playing field even, or you're a goner. That's on you. This isn't just we're going to eat good every night, all the weekend. We're not just a brotherhood of unity. We stick together. It can get serious. Even though it might be over something stupid and dumb, it will get serious. So whenever that time comes, where are you going to be at? And are you willing to possibly, unfortunately, catch an outside charge for either seriously assaulting somebody or unfortunately stabbing them up? Sometimes people end up dying. If not, that's completely fine. Keep it moving. That's how it needs to be done. You don't want to just take people in because you want the numbers. That's how it gets wrecked. Everything. Now, as always said, I do not condone and I do not glorify any types of prison activity, any type of gang activity. I'm just speaking on my past experiences while being locked up and hoping that no one else has ever have to go down that path. What I do is speak about the time that I've had, things that I've done, the times I've been shot callers. So I know I've been there, so I can speak on it. But I want you to know that that's not a path you want to go down. Not only is going to prison dumb and lame, but I can promise you, joining any type of gang is not going to be lucrative for you at all. At the end of the day, there might be money involved, there might be drugs involved. However you think you may benefit from it, there's always going to be a downside, and it's never going to be worth the price. What I want you to do is go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification button so you'll be first informed when I upload. This is just a short video on shot callers. What's going to happen? Keep your men in line, because if not, and you've got nothing left of your legacy. So, as always, I send my utmost love, loyalty, respect, guys. I hope you have a happy holiday season. Happy New Year's to all. I hope 2023 brings new wonders and prosperity to all that are out there. As always, guys, go ahead. I hope to see you soon. Be gone.